What is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny gameplay video. In this video I'm going to be talking about sweats and the whole idea of making Destiny more competitive. So in the background you're going to see footage from sweats that I did yesterday. So that's what's going to be playing in the background, and in the meantime I'm just going to give you some of my feedback on sweats and how I think we could better improve the competitive scene in Destiny. So first and foremost, I still get people who ask questions like, A, what are sweats? So sweats are basically, it's just the name that they gave to this scenario where you have a set team and you want to play against another set team, and so you queue up a match against each other. That is possible in Destiny. It can be tricky, it can be difficult, but usually it works out pretty decently if you have two people, one on each team, that are relatively close to each other geographically. You have those two people be hosts, you search up a match in the same playlist at the same time, and then you basically cross your fingers, hope that you get one another. There is a science to it, and you can look up how that process works, but long story short, you can match each other. So once you get in the same lobby, there are then rules and restrictions about what you can and cannot use in order to pursue fair balance across the boards. And then you play a series of matches, whether it's a best of 3, 5, 7, whatever it may be, against each other, basically just to see if you can beat the other team with your team. So that's what sweats are. They call them sweats because they tend to be pretty intense matches if the teams are sort of matched evenly. And let me just come out of the gate saying I enjoy doing sweats sometimes. I like them in short bursts, like maybe one day out of the week I'll just devote all of my playtime for that day to playing sweats, and there is value to it for me. What that means is I'm going to be playing with a lot of players that are equal to or better than my skill level. So that's how you get better. That's one of the things I've said for a long time. One of the ways that you can best improve your gameplay is to surround yourself with players who challenge you, players who are maybe even better than you. And if you're always playing with people who are under your skill level, then you're not gonna get better necessarily, because you're not learning anything from the people around you. You're not communicating with the people around you. Anyways, long story short, I think it makes me a better player, and it probably will you too. So I think there's value to sweats. Let me also say that I have the utmost respect for a number of people in what they call the sweat community, the more competitive community of Destiny. People who they play the tournaments, they play sweats all the time, and so they play at a different level. They're not just players who play in the pubs, the public lobbies, and pub stomp is what it's called when you just wreck people in public lobbies. But no, they tend to try and surround themselves with this environment as much as they can to stay good at the game. I have the utmost respect for these people. A number of them are good friends of mine. So as I give my feedback, just know that I'm not rapping on sweats or anyone in the community at all. But moving forward, here's what I think about sweats, okay? I enjoy them, but at the same time, I think that it waters down Destiny. I think that there are too many restrictions that water Destiny down to something less than what it was designed to be. In fact, my top 5 favorite ways to play this game in PvP, I can't do that in sweats because of all the restrictions and things that I'm not allowed to use, ways that I'm not allowed to play, weapons I can't use, armor I can't use, yada yada yada. So for me, when I play in sweats, it takes me a little while to get warmed up because this isn't how I play the game. I'm sort of playing out of my element. I have to get a new rhythm. I have to use things I'm not used to using. I have to not use things that I am used to using, and so it kind of jacks it up for me. But I think that Destiny was designed with certain weapons and armor in mind to help enhance the experience and to create these new and exciting play styles that you can't explore in sweats. And that's one of my biggest beefs with it. I don't like that. I feel like I'm playing something that's a watered down version of Destiny when I play sweats. So first thing I would do is I would revamp all the restrictions. I want fewer restrictions in sweats. I know that those restrictions are there because the end game, the goal here, is to create balance, but I think that in the pursuit of balance, they water down Destiny. So I want more exotic armor pieces. Well, none are allowed right now. I want armor allowed. certain ones. I know that there are particular pieces of armor that may be considered a little imbalanced. So maybe start to revamp that and just single out the ones that are the real problem, and then allow all the others so that we can have more playstyles and more variety in the way that you see Sweats being played. Because that's another one of my biggest complaints is I like to watch Sweats a lot as well, and the problem is that it gets really repetitive really fast. So it's the same weapons, it's the same subclasses and the same setups across the board. So it used to be worse than it is, but even still, even right now, there's just a lot of repetition, and it can get really old really fast. So I want less restrictions, I want more variety, and also in the pursuit of more variety, I think, in my opinion, I think that a great rule to implement would be the one of everything rule. Right now, it's just one of every subclass. You can't have more than one of the same subclass. No 2 Night Stalkers, no 2 Strikers, etc., etc. I think that you should carry that over to specific weapons as well. You're never going to see a Sweat where people aren't using either the Last Word or Thorn, like, for the most part. But 95% of the time when you're watching a Sweat, so you've got more than one Last Word, more than one Thorn, and you know, not that I'm repping on those guns, but man, is it boring to see the same things over and over again. Let's make variety necessary in Sweats to, you know, to promote a more diverse style in the competitive scene. And so, for example, yesterday when I was playing Sweats, one of the best games that I had was a game that I actually switched to No Land Beyond in a sidearm. And I ended up outgunning a Last Word a couple of times in 1v1 engagements, and it was a blast. And it's just that I'm used to those things, and I like that variety. And you know, I think that sometimes people get out of their element when they have to switch things up like that. So I would love to see a one of everything rule applied to guns as well. So no 2 Last Words, only 1 on each team. No 2 Thorns. No you know, no 2 Matadors. And in branching off of that, I would also say let's get rid of Matador. Party Crasher's fine. Let's get rid of Matador. Why? Because Matador is unanimously across the board, everyone agrees in the Sweat community, Matador's better. Okay, it is. And because of that, I don't like the fact that new players who may be new into the Destiny scene, they can't get that anymore. So they're at a disadvantage already in Sweats because there are weapons that they can't use. Let's move to year 2 weapons only. Weapons that are able to be acquired in year 2. So Matador is one of those things that you can't get anymore at all. So until it is available again for everybody, let's take it out of the game. Let's let new players on the scene be able to compete across the boards with no real disadvantage. Okay, so that's another thing that I would change. One of the things I think that needs to change, this isn't something on the community's end, this is on Bungie's end, is I like the no re-rolling. I like that. I like that pursuit of good guns, and when you get them to drop, it's like, hallelujah, right? I like that. But at the same time, if we're going to have that system, we need more loot. And, you know, you need to take the Diablo approach, where you just drown people in loot. Everywhere you go, every time you're playing, you're getting loot, and you sift through it to find the gems. So instead of, you know, twice a week, I'm going to get a package, and I got to cross my fingers and hope that it's a decent roll. Just drown us in loot, you know what I'm saying? And we'll sift through it and find those good rolls. So I like that. But let's enhance those drop rates. Another thing that I want is more maps in the rotation. So currently it's 9 times out of 10 when you're playing Sweats, you're playing in the classic 3v3 playlist. But there's some maps you miss out on. I would love to see more map variety in the rotation. And branching off of that, honestly, what we need is either private or custom matches. So if Destiny is really going to pursue that competitive scene, then we need private and or custom matches. So the difference between those two is private matches is just you can queue up a match against another team. Custom matches is you can queue up a match against another team and set restrictions. So if you remember back in Halo, you can do this. You can give everyone double overshields and 0 gravity and 2 times speed, right? You can customize the way that the game plays. So I think that at the very least we need private matches, and then if we wanted to go a step further, custom matches would be even better, as we could make certain restrictions on the game to promote balance across the board. So those are just some of my thoughts on Sweats and the competitive scene in Destiny. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it quite a bit. I've got a lot of friends in that scene, and I have the utmost respect for them and the way that they can play the game. It's amazing, and I would love to continue to dabble in that scene. It's never gonna be my main thing, but I do kind of brush shoulders with that scene, you know, at least once a week, and I do enjoy it. But those are my thoughts. Take them or leave them. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear some of your thoughts and opinions in the comments section, guys. And I do read all those comments. I may not respond to them because some days I get 1,000 comments on my YouTube channel. So keeping up with that is it's tough. So I may not respond to all of them, but I at least try to read them all. So thanks for listening, guys. I'll catch you in the Crucible.